Well, in case you haven't been outside yet today, it is cold, it is breezy, and it's only going to be getting colder. That's right, a cold front has kicked through the tri-state, which means, yeah, it's windy, but it's also going to be a lot colder behind it. Good afternoon, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. We're seeing plenty of clouds out there, but I'd say the biggest impact right now to travel, any of your Thanksgiving plans, or at least last-minute shopping trips. That's, of course, going to be the cold. Maybe a little bit having to do with, of course, the winds making it feel colder here and there, but kicking it around town, I mean, it just looks cold, doesn't it? None of the GIMs really look too glamorous right now this Wednesday at 12:01, especially our Newport cam, the very top right corner of your screen there. Yeah, extra gloomy up that direction. We have several things that we're going to start to talk about throughout this live stream today. So here's what's on our radar. I mean, of course, it's going to be cold. The cold is really settling on in for Black Friday and for Thanksgiving. So today, dropping temperatures. Of course, it's breezy. Thankfully, it's dry. We saw the rain yesterday, spitting rain, super nasty to be outside, whereas today it's about the winds. Thankfully, we're dry, though. Again, cold settles on in for Thanksgiving, Black Friday as well. And then we're talking about the return of some snowflakes this weekend. I'll say it's mainly going to be some rain. That's the good news here. Any snow that does try to accumulate will be washed away by some rain, but we'll let you know how it could affect those weekend plans coming up in just a second. Right now, our Mount Auburn cam, yeah, just gloomy. Reminder, we woke up this morning in the 50s. We're in the 30s right now, 38 here in Cincinnati. See those breezes kicking around the trees outside? In case you still have leaves on your trees, after today, you probably are going to notice even probably the biggest leaf drop of the year so far, just with wind advisories in effect and these winds being reported 17 miles per hour. That's sustained wind, so consistently, but we're getting bouts, little gusts of wind up to about 40, maybe 45 miles per hour towards the afternoon. So even though it is cold outside, looking at those temperatures, the wind chills, or the feels like temps, of course, once you factor in the winds, going to make it feel even colder at times. So, I mean, look, take Owenton, for example. That's very southern point of our tri-state area. The air temperature is 35, but the wind chill's 25. So again, that weather app, that Fox 19 weather app, it does a good job of showing you the temperature. It's the big number that you see there, but it's also telling you the feels like temperature. We're starting to enter the territory, the season, if you will, in which wind chill is going to be playing more of a factor, especially if you're outside for long periods of time. I mean, we're not into extreme territory by all means. It's only November, but yeah, it's a taste of winter for sure. And that's because winds are still gusting pretty decently. Here in Cincinnati, a 29 mile per hour wind gust, but look north where we have those wind advisories in effect. Wilmington, latest reported gusts at 39 miles per hour. So here's the latest on those wind advisories. They started at 10 o'clock this morning. They will be in effect till 10 o'clock tonight for everywhere you see there in the beige color. So not technically the entire tri-state, but even if you're not under the wind advisory, it's still going to be breezy. It's just especially breezy north of downtown. So that's Clinton, Warren, Hamilton, Franklin, Fayette, and Union counties. That's until 10 o'clock tonight. So I know some people have been like, I'm putting up the Christmas lights today. Maybe don't with these winds. Not only is it going to be kind of a nuisance with the lights kind of just shifting around in the winds, but it's also kind of dangerous, especially to be out on ladders. I mean, if you're traveling up north today, something you'll want to keep in mind with these wind gusts, the Ohio Turnpike is closed for high-profile vehicles, which is not your typical car, your SUV, or anything like that. You can find more information on that on our website on fox19.com. That's more or less the big trucks, some trailers as well. So just something to be mindful of if you're traveling north and then west or east along the turnpike. But here locally, just some wind advisories north of the tri-state. Taking you to the skies now. Clouds and radar pretty active. Clouds are satellites active. Radar, not so much. That's the good news, right? Taking you upstairs into the atmosphere. I mean, look, that center of low pressure, that big old L that you see there, it's not too far away. And so, of course, the closer you are to that, the stronger the winds are going to be. So here in Cincinnati, we're not too far, but think about it. If you're traveling north where we've got that closure on the Ohio Turnpike, that's where we have 50 mile per hour wind gusts. maybe 55. I'm about to show you something pretty interesting in which the wave heights out on the Great Lakes are really high, especially tonight when we have the northwesterlies really gusting. But putting it in perspective here, we're not just talking about the winds affecting travel, but also a little bit of winter weather, more a lot of it depending on where you are. Again, here in Cincinnati, that beige that you see covering most of Indiana, most of Illinois, and most of Ohio, wind advisories. So that's the biggest impact to travel here. But if you're heading up north and east, say towards Erie, Pennsylvania, up towards upstate New York, and even the eastern Cleveland area, that's where we have lake effect snow warnings. Our first big lake effect event happening at the probably one of the worst times of the year for it to happen. A busy weekend with it being Thanksgiving, Black Friday, and of course the weekend after. But if you're heading up towards Wisconsin, northern Michigan, the usual culprit for blizzards this time of year, and of course heavy winds too. That orange that you see there, I don't have it labeled for you guys, but those are blizzard warnings issued for parts of the UP and northern Wisconsin. So something to keep in mind, especially with Thanksgiving travel. We'll take a look at other impacts here in just a second, but talk about the gales in November. I mean, really these winds, not only just here, but through much of the region, the Great Lakes region especially, in which wave heights are going to be nearly 40 miles per hour out on Lake Michigan, which is really interesting. So not really too much of a headline here in Cincinnati, but I like talking about it because of my Great Lakes roots for sure. Now, heading into your afternoon today here in Cincinnati, of course, it's going to be windy, it's going to be cloudy, it's going to be cold. We also have a slight chance of a flurry. That's going to happen north of Cincinnati. These flakes are really going to struggle to stick where we do see them. That's the good news. However, we could see reduced visibility heading into dinner time today. Up towards Connorsville, Franklin County, Hamilton, say Warren County, North Lebanon even. We could see those snowflakes or maybe some lighter rain here in Cincinnati. It depends on those temps, of course. I think it's more so going to be flurries than anything. But you saw how small it was, and you saw how isolated it was towards the northern tri-states. So something that you just might notice to pair with these dropping temperatures and these breezy conditions. Again, temperatures have dropped from the 50s this morning. They're in the 30s now, and they're going to stay in the 30s for the rest of the day today. Pair it with these winds gusting up to about 40 miles per hour. It feels like the 20s, especially heading into your evening. It's going to be even colder if you're having any pre-Thanksgiving events, parties, things of that nature. Bundle up. Even just the walk from the car to the house or the car to the restaurant or anything, it's going to be real cold. Let's talk about holiday travel real quick and see if I have any questions before we roll on through. Christopher's tuning in. Hey, Erin, how's it going? It's going good, thank you. Is South Park making you uncomfortable in the moment? I don't know what you're talking about. Brenda saying too cold. It's gonna get colder, Brenda. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. Again, cold temperatures really just now getting started. Okay, let's talk about the holiday travel. Current conditions, again, the yellow that you see there, it's windy. That's the biggest travel impact here locally and even across the region. As we step more north of the area where we've got the white, of course, that's where we've got the snow, maybe a little bit of ice coming off of Lake Michigan, and then taking you down south and west. If you're escaping the cold, 1, good for you. 2, be mindful of a little bit of wet weather happening down towards Florida. And then if you're heading out north and west, even out west entirely towards California, that's where we've got a little bit of fog moving on through with some warming temperatures. Now here locally, back at home, talk so much about what's happening around the nation. Let's talk about Cincinnati. Thanksgiving extremes. Let's talk about it. So, I mean, Thanksgiving, it's hard to look at climatology because the date of Thanksgiving changes from year to year to year, right? It's always on the last Thursday of November. So this year it's on the 27th, but sometimes it's on a different date. So crunching the numbers for you guys, got the final values. The hottest Thanksgiving, so the hottest high temperature was before the 20th century, back in the 1800s. 71 was your warmest Thanksgiving here in Cincinnati. Now the coldest temperature recorded ever on Thanksgiving, recorded is not ever. So the coldest temperature on record for Thanksgiving, let's clarify that, 3 degrees. in 1930. Let me know if you remember that. The wettest not too long ago, about 15 years ago. 2010, just over 2.5 inches of liquid precip, rain or maybe melted snow. And then the snowiest was also in 1930, in which we had the coldest at over 2 inches of snow on the ground. Hey, this year, while it's not necessarily going to be the coldest or the snowiest or the wettest or the hottest, we do see some sun. That's the good news. I mean, it's also going to be pretty cold, leaning on the cold side for sure, with a high temperature of 39 degrees. As we step into your morning, I mean, we're not going to be lifting past the freezing point until the late morning. So might I suggest taking it easy in the morning. The turkey trotters, I mean, sorry guys, I know you paid probably some decent money for a pretty cold run. Hopefully it's still nice and fun though. Some people might argue that this is great running weather. I think that's a little crazy, especially because the feels like temperatures are really going to be playing a factor here. I mean, they only reach the upper 20s through the heat of the day, so you can imagine the mornings are a lot colder and therefore feel a lot colder too. So bundle up, hats, gloves, protect your ears, especially if you're running or walking or just going outside. You can expect, well, it's not going to be as breezy as it is today. Tomorrow we're coming off of a pretty breezy day, so winds are going to be gusting up to about 20, maybe 25 miles per hour, especially in the afternoon. But at the same time, we do welcome in some sunshine. That's the silver lining in all of this. Now, stepping into your weekend, perhaps you've got a lot of plans. If you're shopping on Black Friday, if you're just traveling this weekend, Festival of Lights resumes on Friday. It's tonight. It is closed tomorrow on Thanksgiving, but then it resumes on Friday. So if you have tickets tonight, don't worry. But Friday, cloudy and crisp. These are forecast highs, reminder. So if you're heading out in the evening, you can imagine those temperatures are going to be dropping pretty quickly, especially Friday night. I'm seeing a forecast low on Saturday morning in the middle 20s. That's probably, Black Friday morning and Saturday morning are going to be the coldest ones out of your 10-day forecast. And yeah, it's really going to be chilly. Now, Saturday, most of the day does look dry. It's still cold. Temps only reach the upper 30s, and that's because we have some clouds on the way and eventually a little bit of snow. I'm seeing this is mainly an overnight into Sunday event because obviously Sunday itself, we do have a little bit more activity out there. Temperatures are a bit warmer though, so we're watching that transition from wintry mix to rain. So I know it's hard to pick a pick day between Thanksgiving, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but if you had to pick one, I would probably pick Thanksgiving. I mean, temperatures are going to be in the upper 30s, but you're not having to dodge any wet weather. Saturday's a close second, though, because, again, a few flakes late. Again, that's pretty late in the day. You're going to see it here in a second on your weather timeline, but it's really not going to affect much of your daytime at all. In fact, it's about a 20% chance that you see it all together on Saturday because most of it, the activity, the wet weather, that's going to be on Sunday. We're watching the transition from snow to wintry mix to rain. And so what this means, I'm not too concerned about snow or ice because, I mean, the rain is going to follow and most of this is really going to be just rain anyways. But in case you were worried about the snow and ice accumulating, in case you do see it, the rain will wash it away. Let's show you what everything looks like here on your weather timeline. So today, cloudy, breezy, a little chance of a flurry. That's it. And then tomorrow, we're starting to see a little bit more sun in the forecast. Not tracking anything in the way of snow for Thanksgiving. It's just going to be a little breezy and cold as a result, especially in the morning and in the evening. But I mean, sun towards the middle of the day. It's going to be a good change of pace. Friday, Black Friday, if you're getting up really early in the morning for shopping, just make sure you're bundling up. That's the biggest impact to shopping. Not tracking much, if anything, in the way of snow until Saturday evening. Notice the snow does get pretty close by Saturday morning, but it doesn't really arrive here until late in the evening. Notice I brought you to 11 o'clock, and that's when the rain and a little bit of snow try to come into the mix. Remember, most of this is going to be rain altogether. It's just a chance that it starts as flurries. Look at this, Sunday, 7 o'clock in the morning, we got rain here in the tri-state, so great sleeping weather for sure. And then by the afternoon on Sunday, it's going to be noticeably colder, still a bit breezy with that cold front passing through. Maybe a flurry coming off of Lake Michigan, but I mean, that's really it, heading into your late Sunday, into your Monday. And our attention is going to be on next Tuesday. I mean, today's Wednesday. I'm talking about Tuesday. It's just something that we're going to be keeping an eye on. The chance of some snow, maybe some ice, can't rule that out. And to give you an idea of what we're looking at this weekend in terms of the snow, if we do see any, it's going to be fairly little and about half of an inch, maybe an inch. I think that's being pretty generous personally, and that's for a very brief period of time because, reminder, we have rain following all from behind it. So I would say we're looking a little bit more ahead to Tuesday of next week. So that's going to be December 2nd for snow, but also the chance for some ice. We haven't seen ice here in Cincinnati and the tri-state, and I haven't really seen it in the models until today. So it's just something that we're going to be keeping an eye on, watching out for the trends. So just keep checking back on that forecast. But your 10-day high temperatures were well below normal. I don't know if you even noticed, but we put the normal line on top of everything. So normal here in Cincinnati for Thanksgiving is 49. We'll be 10 degrees below that in the afternoon at 39 degrees with partly cloudy skies. Again, we do have a chance for some snow as soon as Saturday evening, but it's mainly going to be rain heading into Sunday. And then Monday, nice and dry. Tuesday into Wednesday, watching out for that next chance for some snow, maybe some ice coming into the mix. Again, it's really temperature dependent. It's a sensitive forecast for sure. And so you imagine with temperatures being well below average in the afternoon, the mornings are also going to be pretty cold too. Not as cold compared to the average, but still cold. 20s with winds and wind chills, making it feel like the teens. Here's your first alert extended forecast, getting into the fun part of it. So today temperatures are of course dropping. We started in the 50s, we're ending in the 30s, or we're in the 30s now, and we're going to end dropping into the 20s overnight into Thursday. Thanksgiving, chilly sunshine, 39 degrees. Reminder, just if you're heading out really early in the morning, especially if you're heading out to one of the turkey trots around town, cold. And I'm talking hats, gloves, scarves, cold. Earmuffs especially if you're running. Now Friday, 34. I mean, Black Friday is going to be cold from beginning to end. It's just especially cold in the morning and in the evening. It's not until late Saturday that we start to see our wet weather come in. It starts as a little bit of snow, but it's mainly going to be rain. That's the good news. We don't like seeing the transition from rain to snow. We don't really see that too often. But from snow to rain, we at least wash away the snow with the rain. Low 40s on Sunday. And Monday into Tuesday, it's going to be cold, of course, but that's when we have our next chance for some wintry mess. Something to keep an eye on. Okay. Darla's tuning in. Happy Wednesday, Erin. Hope you're having a great day. I've been seeing a few snowflakes here in Aurora. Hey. A few snowflakes never bothered anyone anyways. Let's actually take a look at radar, see if it's picking up on those light snowflakes, because sometimes if the snow is so light, we don't see it on our radar image. But of course, eyes on the ground truth are really important with any winter weather. So Aurora, let's find you guys. Yeah, I'm not even seeing anything near Switzerland County up towards Ohio County. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Not surprising, but hey, if you guys are seeing the snow right now, it's not going to pick up today. It's hardly going to pick up this weekend. It's Tuesday of next week that we're really watching. Thanks for tuning in, Darla, as always, and thank you all for tuning in this Wednesday afternoon. I've got my days mixed up. I hope you guys have a really great Thanksgiving, a great Black Friday. Make sure you stay nice and safe. Make sure you stay nice and warm too. We'll have the latest information for you guys about how cold it gets, that weekend forecast, and that event that we're watching, or potential for something messy on Tuesday of next week. That's all coming in today at Fox 9 or on Fox 19 at 3 o'clock. But for now, signing off here in Queens Gate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Have a great rest of your week.